a short statement from Coach, and then we'll go to questions. We have two microphones in the room. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Coach, you're ready.
First of all, my hat goes off to Coach Dabo Swinney. Clemson Tigers, they're a wonderful football team, and I'm sure they're going to still have an opportunity and should to play for the national championship. That's a championship team. That's not a bunch of individuals. It was a hard-fought match, and they're going to be fine. They really are. Very, very proud of the young men. The seniors, Zaire, Paris, Ish, Irv, Moo, that senior class, 3 head football coaches, all the things that they've been through, and to have an opportunity to have a win like that they'll never forget for the rest of their lives, something that they'll tell their sons and their daughters, and then they'll tell their grandsons and their granddaughters. And it will be one of those deals where, no, Grandpa, not the story again about how you beat Clemson at the Loud House. And they'll have to sit there and listen for it again. It's truly one of those moments that you coach for. I've had those moments, but to be able to share a moment like that with these young men is really, really special, and it really means a lot to me. So really proud of them, and I'm ready for you guys' questions.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Last year's Virginia Tech win, you could call it a signature win. Can you call this a turning point win?
You know, you guys called it a signature win, and I just concurred. This is big. You know, I've only been a part of beating a number 2 team once before, and that was at UCLA beating USC when they were number 2. This is big, and I'm excited for the players. I'm excited for the university and the community. I mean, how about the fans tonight? Are you kidding me? We have a dome. No one else does. Neener, neener, neener. Okay, we're loud. We're crazy up here. And that's the atmosphere that it should be every single time you come to the Carrier Dome. It should be a very, very, very difficult place to play. And that was a good football team. And I thought the fans were great. They were fantastic. They were the 12th man on defense, and it made it very difficult for their offense to communicate. And that helped our defense, and it motivated our young men to put the effort that they needed to beat a fantastic Clemson team.
A year away, particularly on the offensive side. Thanks, Sue. Today, they clearly held their own, you know, on both sides of the ball. How impressed were you just with those 2 groups, and what did that kind of allow everyone else to do?
From a defensive standpoint, we're getting better. You know, we still have our 2 starting defensive ends, Black and Coleman, still haven't played in a long time, and we need to get those guys back. But the other guys are rotating, and they're giving us a fantastic effort. There's no rotation with the offensive line. You know, they're going to play every snap unless they go down. And if they go down, we're going to put another guy in, and we're just not deep enough in either one of those areas yet. But, I mean, for the big people, I don't know how many plays we played, but the way we were running the ball in the 4th quarter, I guarantee you it was a lot. It was over 80-something because you could see that they were getting a little taxed.
Coach, you just mentioned that Josh and Kendall haven't played in 2-3 weeks, and in the first half you saw Scoop and Jordan go down and missed the large chunk of that game. What does it mean for your unit seeing guys like Rodney Williams and even Alton Robinson continue to step up and make plays for that unit?
We've talked about the underbelly of the team, and so many times, especially with young people, they're like, oh, okay, I get a chance to play, now I'm going to make a play. Their attitude is totally wrong, and that's what we've been talking about the last 2 weeks. If you're a part of the underbelly of the team and now you get an opportunity to play more, your attitude needs to be that I just want to do my job. And we talked about Ryan last week about just doing your job, and if you do your job, all of a sudden you'll make a play doing your job. And when you look at Rodney and you look at the other guys, and Scoop going down and Dow's, those guys were coming in and they were doing their jobs, not necessarily making a play, but doing their job. And by doing that, they allowed other family members to make those plays. And I'm so proud of the way those guys played, and really proud of how the underbelly part of the football team has been developing. And that goes to not only the players, but also the assistant coaches. My hat's off to them.
A few weeks back, you said that you thought that right here.
Okay, sorry.
You said that the team would be very dangerous once they figured out how to play 4 quarters. Do you think that they finally got that formula figured out, and that was the difference today?
Well, I know we gave up. We had that first down, and then unfortunately, Dante had the fumble, and they picked it up and ran it back. I'm not sure. The defense gave up 17 points to them cleanly, and I know that their defense had only been averaging giving up 3 points a quarter for the first 3 quarters of a game. The fourth quarter, a lot of backups had played. And when you look at the opponents that those guys, excuse me for popping, and when you look at the opponents that those guys have been playing, the former Heisman Trophy winner in Louisville, Boston College, Wake Forest, Auburn's quarterback who's a transfer that's a fantastic player, they have really played some dynamic offenses, and they just bottled them up. They just bled them dry. And for us to be able to find a way to battle and sneak a point here and a point there. And how about Cole? I think he hit every field goal that he wanted. Yeah, he put one out of bounds. I know, I saw it. But outside of that, he hit every doggone field goal. And if we had to choose between him hitting all those field goals and hitting one out of bounds, I'd be the first guy to raise my hand and say, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So I think it was an overall team effort, and I'm really, really proud of the young men.
Dino, I know a lot over here. Right behind.
Okay, sorry.
No worries.
Behind the quiet one.
Yeah, I know. I know you like to kind of keep things in-house a good amount, but can you share with us something that you said to the team after the win in the locker room?
Basically what I'm saying right here, really proud of them. The thing about a locker room is you get to look into those young people's eyes. And when you're looking at them and they're looking back at you, there's certain things that that they will never forget. How would you like to do something positively that someone will never forget for the rest of your lives? I've seen more days than I'm going to see. And to know that I put a moment in time in 124 people's lives, they're going to live a heck of a lot longer than me, I promise you that. That's really special. And that's what coaching is all about. I've never, ever wanted to go coach pro football. It's never been something that I've wanted to do, even though I've had opportunities. To me, the true spirit of the game is college football or Pop Warner. Those were the guys are really doing it, and they're not getting paid, and they're doing it for the love of the brethren next to them, the brotherhood, band of brothers. Good stuff.
Coach, up here. Can you talk about the impact that Bryant getting knocked out of the game may have had on the game? Bryant, their quarterback.
I really feel that the defense had a good handle on Bryant. Bryant's a fantastic player. Everything ties in. Okay, let me back up. The coolest thing about football is that you get to hit the best player. When Michael Jordan gets fouled, he gets the basket and he gets another one, or he gets 3 foul shots to shoot 2. That's basketball. In football, you get an opportunity to hit the best player, and it changes the face of the game because sometimes the best player can keep playing and sometimes he can't. Brian is a fantastic player, and I thought we had a good game plan for him, and I thought we executed it well. Him not being in the game is definitely an advantage for us, and him not being healthy going into the game is definitely an advantage for us. But that's part of football. I mean, we played without 2 defensive ends. Chris Elmore, who our Rhino, our fullback, we lost him in the first quarter. I mean, it broke down a bunch of formations and a bunch of things that we couldn't do. But that's what makes football the chess match that it is that physically you get to hit each other's best players, and when one of those guys go down, it has a ripple effect throughout the entire family and throughout units. We had Scoop go down. Scoop's one of our main special teams players. We had a bunch of new people out there doing things they've never done before. We had to create new plays. We had to create new defenses, and they did the same. But that's the stuff that really gets me going, is that when your team is well coached and they understand the techniques and the fundamentals, and you do a fantastic job of game planning, the other team's going to do a great job of game planning. And then on the game, you say, well, if we did this, we could really get them. Well, we haven't practiced it. And that's where those decisions start happening on offense and defense and special teams. Do you take a chance on doing something you didn't practice and then have it affect the game in a positive or a negative manner? Well, we did a couple of those things tonight, and it came out our way.
Dino, tonight is going to attract a lot of attention from fans of other schools, maybe athletic directors and chancellors and presidents of other schools. What did tonight, this building, this system reinforce to you about what this place can become again?
You know, I came to Syracuse for a reason. I came to Syracuse because I wanted to play in one of the toughest divisions in college football. I wanted to play in games that mattered, okay? And I wanted to play on games on TV. I knew that this place could have an unbelievable home field advantage. All I have to do is get everyone else to believe and have faith in what we can do if we all work together. I'm telling you, we were at Louisville and they had 80,000. I played at Tennessee and they got 100,000, and those are fantastic. Not at Tennessee, we're at the Tennessee Titans, just in case their fans get mad. The Tennessee Titans NFL Stadium. But I've been in those big venues where they have fantastic home field advantages based off of the numbers. But you put enough people in the Loud House and you fill it up, and it matches all those advantages. You know, I've got a great love for upper state New York. I've seen things here that I never would have seen. And I'm serious about this. You're talking about a guy that was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm in Syracuse, New York now. But it's beautiful up here. Now, snow's coming. We all know that, and we'll stay inside. But in the summer, in the spring, in the fall, it's unbelievable up here. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I love having the ability to get from one part of town to the other part of town, and everybody's saying, oh, don't go this way, there's traffic. And I'm just laughing. I said, this ain't traffic. Heck, are you kidding me? I've seen traffic. So I love this place. I think it's awesome. This is a fantastic home field advantage, and I just hope that every home game is like the one that we just played.
So that first drive was something. I mean, you can kind of feel, not the momentum shift, but I can imagine it does a lot for a team. So kind of a two-parter here. The offense hasn't started that way a bunch in recent games. What do you think that did to kind of set the table for the game? And also, was that totally scripted? And you know, what approach do you kind of take starting off a game offensively?
We don't script. You know, we have formations. It's like a chess game. We have formations that we want to see adjustments to. We understand that those formations that we're seeing adjustments to will change if they change their defensive calls. But there's certain things that we want to see, and we want to see those things very quickly so that we can start the game. And once we start the game, it's a boxing match, you know. You're telling me that the first drive was good, and I'm looking at you. Did we score on the first drive? We scored a touchdown? Now watch this. To me, it's just a boxing match. They're throwing blows. I'm throwing blows. I can't recall all that because, you know, maybe I'm dazed up here, concussed. I don't know. I don't remember all that. All I remember is that we need to score again. We need to score again until it came to a point where, okay, we got a 3-point lead, and now we need to run some clock. And I think it's the clock management of things, I think, is what gets away from coaches sometimes. And my thing is, I'm always going to try to control. You have to play this game with great effort. You have to play it with great emotion. But as a coach, you have to be able to control that because you're the leader. And you have to make sure that your calculations are right. Even though they get second-guessed sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays, you have to know that your calculations are right and put your team in the best situation, because sometimes you can win a game in the first 3 quarters and lose it in the fourth quarter if you don't pay enough attention to what's going on. So I thought, in my opinion, that when we switched gears and started eating up clock at the right time to shorten the game and really stress their offense to do certain things when they get the ball, which was going to help our defense in stopping them. Okay?
Time for 2 more questions. Mark?
Hey, Coach, me again. Back here. Yep,
Okay.
there you go. So, not a lot of people thought this was going to happen.
I know you had faith, though.
Well,
Belief
no
without
comment.
evidence.
No comment. All right. So, anybody that watched the game, though, sees that it wasn't a fluke. So, what statement should this say about your team? What should people take away about your team right now?
I'm not going to. I think that Clemson's a fine football team. I think Clemson's going to still play for the national championship. I really do. I'll say that right now. I still believe they're going to be in the Final Four and they're going to play for the national championship. That's a fantastic team. That's a fantastic staff, and they will reload that thing and they will be up there when it's all said and done. I think the biggest thing for our team is if you believe it, it can happen. If you don't care who gets the credit, we can achieve. And we're banged up. We may not have enough strength for our next opponent, but we had enough strength for this one. And we came together and we found a way to get a win.
Final question for Coach.
How are you celebrating?
How am I celebrating? My wife is, I'll probably go home and hopefully get fried noodles. I got to hope. Hopefully I'll get fried noodles and then we'll come in and I'll wake up tomorrow and I've got to go recruiting. And I'm not allowed to tell you who I'm going to see because that's an NC2A violation. But I'll be flying out tomorrow morning and I'll be working all day. And then I'll fly back in here late and I have a recruiting weekend with committed recruits here on the weekend. And then we'll watch the tape on Sunday and we'll get started for our next opponent Sunday. So when you guys are sleeping and resting, you're wondering what Coach is doing, I'll probably be in a plane somewhere or I'll be in New York watching high school games. You guys have a blessed night. Thank you.